Hello, colleagues. This video is a supplement to the video on discussion section in a journal article. I wanted to add a half module on the theoretical contribution because this is oftentimes a challenging but an important part. I will get to the challenge of international publication and theoretical contribution toward the end of this video, but let's begin by understanding what it means to contribute to the theory or to theorize or to use theory in order to make the discussion happen a little deeper than the last video. First of all, some theoretical framework is needed, even if you're simply using empirical finding set or review in order to interpret your findings. It is important to relate to existing theory or understanding, or to advance the theoretical understanding of the issue. If we revisit the basic objectives of the discussion, it is that we contribute to the scholarly discourse or conversation on the topic. And that discussion is naturally done in theoretical terms. A lot of us have this notion that theory is very highfalutin, abstract, esoteric. I don't know theory. I'm a pragmatic person. But whether the article is empirical or theoretical or review, some form of theoretical discussion or theoretical contribution or theoretical application is needed. In other words, good discussion is always theoretically fleshed out because we put findings in the broader context of existing understanding and existing perspectives or theories of the subject of study. In empirical articles, the discussion typically starts by summarizing key findings and comparing them with hypotheses or research questions posed at the beginning of the study, and the comparison allows the researchers to highlight whether the findings support or contradict existing theories or existing understanding. By engaging with the current theoretical frameworks, authors can provide explanations for the results and enrich the scholarly conversation with new insights that they add to the existing body of knowledge. In theoretical article, the discussion section may serve as the primary venue of developing or advancing theoretical concepts. Here, the entire discussion might be dedicated to theorizing, with the author critically engaging with current theories or challenging current theories and assumptions or proposing new conceptual frameworks. This type of discussion is fundamental for advancing theoretical knowledge and can lead to significant shift in how scholars understand the phenomena. Sometimes, even in empirical studies, novel findings that existing theories cannot fully explain need theoretical exploration. In such cases, researchers may use the discussion section to develop new theories based on their findings. This involves identifying patterns and relationships or gaps and constructing a theoretical explanation that accounts for the observations. Developing a new theory from empirical finding is also sometimes helpful, and it not only demonstrates the originality of the research, but also provides a foundation for future research to build on and test that theory. I'll get to an example in a moment. But in all of these scenarios, any kind of writing, the discussion section is where researchers connect the dots between the data and the broader theoretical landscape of their field. Providing theoretical implications or fleshing out points of discussion theoretically ensures that the study contributes to the ongoing discourse or advancement of knowledge in the field. It transforms the raw data into meaningful insights and situates the research within larger academic purpose. And theory is not necessarily complex, as I said, or esoteric. It is more clearly fleshing out your ideas and thinking and allowing other people to think more clearly, more broadly, more deeply on the subject. So whether through confirming existing theories, challenging existing theories, or developing new theories, the discussion section more or less, but always theoretically engages with the scholarship in the discipline through the findings of the review or discussion of theories. Now, how do you connect the findings of your research to existing theories? One is to identify relevant theories so that you make sense of the findings of your research in relation to the larger understanding of the issue. For example, if the findings of an educational research shows that students made better progress when the curriculum was challenging but not too challenging, you could borrow Lev Vygotsky's concept of the zone of proximal development to explain that finding. Because Vygotsky has explained that students learn the best when they have a challenge, but not too challenging. If I'm studying the load-bearing capacity of a certain type of soil in a civil engineering project, and I find that soil biome seems to have an effect on the capacity of the soil, and not just the physical property and the chemical property of the soil, I might look for theories that have tried to explain why the organic matter in the soil seems to have an important role. And I might find somebody who has actually theorized or hypothesized that, and I could say, this seems to confirm the hypothesis or the theory posed by other people in the past. So even in a scientific study, theoretical application or generation of new theory is relevant. Because if I found that the dynamic of the biome myself, I might theoretically posit that biome seems to have an important role in load-bearing capacity of a particular type of soil. In empirical research, it is common to compare findings with past theoretical understanding or explain the findings of a new study using existing theoretical framework. In theoretical studies or review articles, theory and theoretical framework is primary rather than secondary. We might theorize and contribute to theory primarily. The other thing about theory is to introducing new theoretical perspectives, not so much in empirical articles, but mostly in theoretical articles and review articles. You tend to introduce new theories. In fact, you tend to theorize from the finding. And theorizing is a whole new approach to discussion. You tend to find patterns and then create categories and maybe create themes, and then from the themes to create larger overarching argument. That argument tend to be theoretical. So you might be developing new concepts, maybe developing new hypotheses, developing new theoretical claims. So that is how we tend to produce new theories rather than only use existing theories. Sometimes we might, depending on the nature and objective of the study. When you engage existing theory, however, it is important to position ourselves within the theory by being clear as to where we stand. It is not enough to impose or dump theory upon our finding. It is important to position ourselves intellectually. And that's why theory is not a distant thing in any kind of research. We may respond to criticisms and questions in the literature. We may take a side and we may support one side against another, or we may synthesize different ideas and create a theory, or we may propose a whole new dimension or perspective. In other words, theory or theorizing in the findings section tends to highlight the value or impact or contribution of our findings of our research to ongoing scholarly discussions. One other dimension in the discussion section of an article regarding theory is that theory is one side of the coin, whereas practical application is another. So it should be mentioned here that it is not just theorizing. Sometimes discussion leads to practical application of the theoretical thinking. So you might want to discuss the broader theoretical implications, or you may want to highlight the practical application of your research. And sometimes a third dimension of it is also to highlight the interdisciplinarity of your research, so that when you connect a different discipline to the findings and show value of that finding to other disciplines, that also leads to larger discussion in ways beyond just theorizing or applying. If you're thinking about structuring the theoretical contributions, it's a good idea to clearly state our theoretical contributions rather than be vague or be indirect about it. Be explicit, and then use headings and subheadings. If you want your theory to be a major contribution, use theoretical terms in the title and flesh out your theoretical thinking. That may be something that may make your article impressive, and make sure that the logical flow and coherence is there as you flesh out your theory in relation to the findings and existing literature. One more thing about theory and theoretical contribution is that whenever we make a theoretical claim, it's necessary to provide evidence, whether that evidence is coming from our own findings or the evidence is coming from other people's support or expert opinions or data or ideas. Theory doesn't live alone. That's the other thing that I want to say about theoretical contribution. Theory doesn't live in a vacuum. Include examples and case studies and address potential counter arguments. Theory is very much concrete in that it needs evidence, in that it needs counter argument, in that it needs to be supported also. Theory is not just wishy-washy everything. Let us finally address the use of theory in the context of international publication. Of course, it depends on the nature of the article, but in international publications, theory may play a unique role. For example, it may help you to contextualize your findings, whether you're doing a review article or theoretical articles or empirical article. When applying the findings to the local context, a new kind of theoretical insight may emerge, and that may be actually a strong part of your article. So don't hesitate to theorize your finding in that new context. It can reveal the need for context adaptation that may need to be theoretically discussed, or new theoretical tools and perspectives may be needed, and you are the one to contribute that theoretical contribution, make the theoretical contribution from a different context. So in an international context, theory may not be something to run from. It may be something to run toward. It may be your strength rather than weakness. In theoretical articles, that is even more true. If you use local examples and provide local perspectives, existing theories become more meaningful, more original, and the opposite. If you have theorization of local findings, it may be useful in theoretical articles, even in empirical articles. You may be able to provide new insights or highlight the need for theoretical refinement of existing body of knowledge because your data set, your finding is very unique and original. So whatever will help you to make your contribution original, whether that's a theoretical insight or new data to support existing theory in international context, theorization or theory building can make your article particularly strong. If you're trying to develop new theoretical insights, construct new theories, you may be constructing new theoretical models. And when that happens, don't be shy. Don't hesitate, because you are in a position to contribute something original, something new, something theoretical. Sometimes it's just a matter of providing implications, and that context and culture and original findings can really help to generate new implications. So sit there and generate new ideas. Don't be afraid to do that. That may be your strength again. And this can broaden the appeal to the international audience, whether you apply new theory, develop new theory, use existing theory to explain something new, or challenge existing theory to expand and extend existing understanding. You are in a position to generate new value when you bring the theoretical and the practical as much as you will create value by bringing the global and local together. So it is not either or in international contexts, as much as global and local interactions help to create new value. Theory and practice and theory and finding help to create new value. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight. I hope this helped you to think through a theorization process in the discussion of the article, which is taking a step further than simply discussing contextual implications and applications. And that's it for now. Thank you very much. Gracias.